friends. Thank you for tuning into my YouTube channel today. It is great having you here with me. And I hope that you are doing well. In this live video, I will be reading the Old Testament book of the Bible, Ecclesiastes. Today's Monday, October 27th, 2025. I would like to open this video with a prayer. If you don't mind, we can come together and bow our heads, close our eyes, and put our hands together in front of our hearts. And come before our Heavenly Father's throne of grace and mercy on this beautiful autumn day with an attitude of humility and gratitude. Abba, we pour out our hearts full of love to you, and we know that you love us too, because we are your beloved children, and you are our beloved Father. And we are representatives of heaven on earth, and we are manifesting heaven on earth, knowing our identity, of our true identity of children of the Most High Almighty God, Creator of the universe. And you put us here on earth for a reason. And that reason is to carry out your plan and your will, which is what Joshua, your son, spoke, the Messiah spoke in his prayer, teaching us in the Bible how to pray. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be your name. Holy is your name. Set apart is your name. Revered is your name. Your kingdom come, of heaven on earth. Your will be done, which is your kingdom come, on earth as it is in heaven. Heaven on earth is your will. What Joshua said in the Lord's Prayer. Forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who have trespassed against us, and lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from the evil one. For thine is the kingdom and the power and all the glory forever and ever. Amen. Hallelujah. Hosanna. Glory to God. God is good. And he is here with us now, Emmanuel. I was able to get my water filter in my shower installed, and I love it. I actually went ahead and bought a bunch of replacement filters because I love it that much. I'm planning on keeping it and everything. If you're here, go ahead and leave a comment and say hi. Make your presence known so I can know who's watching and possibly interact, because I love interacting with my viewers. It's one reason I love doing live videos, other than they feel more relaxed and casual and not like performances, because they're not editable. I cannot edit live videos. So these are the differences. Okay, well, we're going to get into reading the Book of Ecclesiastes, written by King Solomon. Psalm 28:7, the Lord is my strength and my shield, it says on the front of my Bible. Now, because it is in the Old Testament, written by King Solomon, it's going to be around the center of the Old Testament, kind of more towards the end of it, meshed in between the books of the other books that King Solomon wrote and his son David. So Psalms, that I just read you a scripture from, that's King Solomon's son David wrote that book. The Lord is my strength and my shield. So his dad, King Solomon, wrote the Book of Ecclesiastes. And one thing I like about the Book of Ecclesiastes, it is one of my favorite books in the Bible because it is the most artistic and philosophical and deep, and it talks about existentialism, existence, life in general. So if there's any existential book of the Bible, the number one existential book of the Bible is called Ecclesiastes, written by King Solomon. And that's what I'm going to be reading in this video. I'm going to read you these books, okay? Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy, Joshua, Judges, Ruth, Samuel, Kings, Chronicles, Ezra, Nehemiah, Esther, Job, Psalms. Wait a second. Psalms, Proverbs, Ecclesiastes, and then Song of Solomon and Isaiah. Well, that's not in chronological order. So Ecclesiastes is right after Proverbs and right before Song of Solomon. Introduction. Author and date. No time period or writer's name is mentioned in the Book of Ecclesiastes. But several passages suggest that King Solomon may be the author. On the other hand, the writer's title, teacher, that's cool. I didn't know that. Hebrew word for teacher is Qoheleth, Koheleth. I don't know how to pronounce that. His unique style of Hebrew and his attitude towards rulers, suggesting that of a subject rather than a monarch, may point to another person and a later period. What is the purpose and the teaching of Ecclesiastes? The author of Ecclesiastes, assumed to be King Solomon, teacher, puts his powers of wisdom to work to examine the human experience and assess the human situation. Existentialism. His perspective is limited to what happens under the sun, as is that of all the wisdom teachers. Existentialists, philosophers. He considers life as he has experienced and observed it between the horizons of birth and death. life within the boundaries of this visible world. His wisdom cannot penetrate beyond the last horizon. He can only observe the phenomenon of death and perceive the limits it places on human beings. Within the boundaries of human experience and observation, he is concerned to spell out what is good for people to do. So basically, he teaches the readers about life. And he represents a devout wisdom. Life in the world is under God for all its enigmas. Hence, what begins with meaningless in verse 2 of chapter 1, ends with remember your Creator in verse 1 of chapter 12. And fear God and keep his commandments in verse 13 of chapter 12. With a wisdom matured by many years, he takes the measure of human beings, examining their limits and their lot. He has attempted to see what human wisdom can do. And he has discovered that human wisdom, even when it has its beginning in the fear of the Lord, has limits to its power when it attempts to go it alone. Limits that circumscribe its perspectives and relativize its counsel. Most significantly, it cannot find out the larger purposes of God or the ultimate meaning of human existence. With respect to these, it can only pose questions, as a lot of philosophers do. And great teachers. And I don't just say good teachers, great teachers. Well, both good and great teachers ask questions to their students to get them thinking for themselves. Joshua did this. Nevertheless, he does take a hard look at the human enterprise, an enterprise in which he himself has fully participated. He sees a busy human anthill in mad pursuit of many things, trying now this, now that, laboring away as if dint of effort humans could master the world, lay bare its deepest secrets, change its fundamental structures, somehow burst through the bounds of human limitations, build for themselves enduring monuments, control their destiny, achieve a state of secure and lasting happiness, people laboring at life with an overblown conception of human powers and consequently pursuing unrealistic hopes and aspirations. This is a picture of a Palestinian man with a donkey, and he's like farming. He's like tilling the land and working the land. And it says, it's an illustration of a verse in Ecclesiastes, a time to plant and a time to uproot, in chapter 3, verse 2. So the writer takes a hard look and concludes that human life in this mode is meaningless. Its efforts are all futile. Pardon me. I burp when I drink because I have acid reflux, because I have a hiatal hernia, because of all the surgeries I've had, because of all the trauma I've had to my body. Major, serious, life-threatening traumas. So anyway, what then does wisdom teach him? Number 1, Humans cannot, by all their striving, achieve anything of ultimate enduring significance. Nothing appears to be going anywhere, and people cannot, by all their efforts, break out of this caged treadmill. They cannot fundamentally change anything. Hence, they often toil foolishly. All their striving under the sun after unreal goals leads only to disillusionment. Number 2, wisdom is better than folly. It is God's gift to those who please him, but it is unwarranted to expect too much even from such wisdom. To expect that human wisdom is capable of solving all problems or of securing for itself enduring rewards or advantages. Number 3, experience confronts humans with many apparent disharmonies and anomalies that wisdom cannot unravel. Of these, greatest of all this, human life comes to the same end as that of the animals, which is death. Although God made humankind upright, people have gone in search of many schemes for getting ahead by taking advantage of others, as it says in chapter 7, verse 29. So even humans are a disappointment. Number 5. Number 5. People cannot know or control what will come after them, even what lies in the more immediate future. Therefore, all of their efforts must remain balanced on the razor's edge of uncertainty. Wow, that is so true and so deep. And that's really the core of one of my life philosophies of my, how I live my life or whatever. Okay. To sum up, Ecclesiastes provides instruction on how to live meaningfully, purposefully, and joyfully under the reign of God. God keeps humans in their place. He sure does. God has ordered all things, and a human being cannot change God's appointments or fully understand them or anticipate them. But the world is not fundamentally chaotic or irrational. It is ordered by God. And it is for humans to accept matters as they are by God's appointments, including their own limitations. Everything has its time and is good in its time. Therefore, wisdom counsels: accept the human state as it is, shaped by God's appointments, and enjoy the life you have been given as fully as you can. That is also one of my life philosophies. Balance, enjoyment to as much as possible. Okay. Don't trouble yourself with unrealistic goals. Know the measure and limitations of human capabilities. Be prudent in all your ways. Follow wisdom's leading. Intuition. I would say wisdom in that context. Follow intuition's leading is saying follow wisdom's leading. Fear God and keep his commandments, beginning already in your youth before the fleeting of days of life's enjoyments are gone, and the days of trouble come when the infirmities of advanced age vex you and hinder you from tasting, seeing, and feeling the good things about life. Yes. In summary, Ecclesiastes provides instruction on how to live meaningfully, purposefully, joyfully under the reign of God, primarily placing God at the center of one's life, work, and activities by contentedly accepting one's divinely appointed lot in life and reverently trusting in and obeying the Creator King, Elohim. Okay. The argument of Ecclesiastes does not flow smoothly in the context of its literary features. It meanders with jumps and starts through the general messiness of human experience to which it is a response. There is also an intermingling of poetry and prose. Nevertheless, the following outline seeks to reflect, at least in a general way, the structure of the book and its main discourses. The announced theme of meaningless futility provides a literary frame around the whole, and the movement from the unrelieved disillusionment to the more serene tone and sober instructions for life in chapters 11 through 12 marks a development in matured wisdom's coming to terms with the human situation. A striking feature of the book is its frequent use of the keywords and phrases meaningless, work, labor, toil, good, better, under the sun, gift and give, chasing after the wind. Also to be noted is the presence of passages interwoven throughout the book that serve as key indicators of the author's theme and purpose. So apparently the timeline for this book, the author's, King Solomon's, his life, (1050 BC to 300 BC. Okay. All of humans spending their lives accumulating things with their toil they fail to result in true happiness. So, in other words, in humans seeking after happiness in life, even if they get what they want, those things do not give true happiness. And we've heard so many people say this who have reached a high level of, fame and fortune. They say this. They say what's King Solomon wrote in Ecclesiastes. Since human wisdom and their endeavors are meaningless, people should enjoy their life and work and the fruits of their work as gifts from God. They should be grateful for the content for what they have in the moment, which brings in more abundance. Pursuing human wisdom is meaningless. Seeking pleasure is meaningless. Human wisdom is meaningless. Toiling to accumulate things is meaningless. Because all people must leave the fruits of their labor to others. Because all human efforts remain under the government of God's sovereign appointments, which people cannot fully know and which all their toil can't change. Because there are things better for people than the envy, greed, and ambition that motivates such toil. Because the fruits of human labor can be lost, resulting in frustration. Basically, everything is temporary, so don't chase after the wind. Let the wind come to you as you be still and know that He is God. There are things better for people than the envy, greed, and ambition that motivate such toil and work. Because the fruits of human labor can be lost, resulting in frustration. What is predetermined by God is unalterable, and people can't fully know what is best to do or what the future holds, says verses 10 through 12 in chapter 6. People can't fully know what is best to do. People can't fully know what the future holds. Since old age and death will come soon, people should enjoy their life and their youth, remembering that God will judge, according to chapter 11, verses 7 through chapter 12, verses 7. People should enjoy their life on earth because their future after death is mysterious, and in that sense is meaningless for their present life. People should enjoy the fleeting joys of youth, but remember that God will judge. People should remember their Creator and His gifts in their youth, before the deterioration of old age and dissolution of the body to come. Reverently trust in and obey God. Let's see, how many... Ecclesiastes is a pretty short book. There's 12 chapters. So yeah, I'm going to read the whole thing here. I'm at 26 minutes now. Let's see if we can get it maybe a 1 hour video like all my live videos are. Let's get started. The words of the teacher, son of David, king in Jerusalem. Meaningless, meaningless, says the teacher. Utterly meaningless. Everything is meaningless. And the writer of the book, I'm assuming, is capital teacher in this context. What do people gain from all their labors at which they toil under the sun? Generations come, generations go, but the earth remains forever. The sun rises, the sun sets, and hurries back to where it rises. The wind blows to the south and turns to the north. Round and round it goes, ever returning on its course. All streams flow into the sea, yet the sea is never full. To the place the streams come from, where they return again. That is so deep. Dust we come from and dust we return. Wow. All things are wearisome, more than one can say. The eye never has enough of seeing, nor the ear its fill of hearing. What has been will be again. What has been done will be done again. There is nothing new under the sun. Is there anything of which one can say, look, this is something new? It was here already long ago. It was here before our time. No one remembers the former generations, and even those yet to come will not be remembered by those who follow them. Wisdom is meaningless, writes the teacher. The most wise man in the world, King Solomon. I, the teacher, was king over Israel in Jerusalem. I applied my mind to study and to explore by wisdom all that is done under the heavens. What a heavy burden God has laid on mankind. I have seen all the things that are done under the sun. All of them are meaningless, a chasing after the wind. What is crooked can't be straightened. What is lacking can't be counted. I said to myself, look, I have increased in wisdom more than anyone who has ruled over Jerusalem before me. I have experienced much of wisdom and knowledge. Then I applied myself to the understanding of wisdom and also the madness and folly. But I learned that this too is the chasing after the wind. For with much wisdom comes much sorrow. The more knowledge, the more grief. That was Ecclesiastes 1:18, and there's a phrase, for with much wisdom comes much sorrow, the more knowledge, the more grief. I forget what the phrase I was going to say is, but oh yeah, I know what it is now. It's the opposite. It says ignorance is bliss. They say ignorance is bliss because King Solomon says, more knowledge, more grief. So ignorance is bliss. Chapter 2, pleasures are meaningless. I said to myself, come now, I will test you with pleasure to find out what is good. But that also proved to be meaningless. Laughter is madness. And what does pleasure accomplish? I tried cheering myself with wine and embracing folly, my mind still guiding me with wisdom. I wanted to see what was good for people to do under the heavens during the few days of their lives. I undertook great projects. I built houses for myself, I planted vineyards, I made gardens and parks and planted all kinds of fruit trees in them. I made reservoirs of water, groves of flourishing trees. I bought male and female slaves and had other slaves who were born in my house. I also owned more herds and flocks than anyone in Jerusalem before me. I amassed silver and gold for myself and the treasure of kings and provinces. I acquired male and female singers and a harem as well. The delights of a man's heart. I became greater by far than anyone in Jerusalem before me. In all this, my wisdom stayed with me. I denied myself nothing my eyes desired. I refused my heart no pleasure. My heart took delight in all my labor, and this was the reward for all my toil. Yet when I surveyed all that my hands had done, and what I had toiled to achieve, everything was meaningless. A chasing after the wind, nothing was gained under the sun. Wisdom and folly are meaningless. Then I turned my thoughts to consider wisdom, and also madness is folly. What more can the king's successor do than what has already been done? I saw that wisdom is better than folly, just as light is better than darkness. The wise have eyes in their heads, while the fool walks in the darkness. But I came to realize that the same fate overtakes them both. Then I said to myself, the fate of the fool will overtake me also. What then do I gain by being wise? I said to myself, this too is meaningless. For the wise, like the fool, will not be long remembered. The days have already come when both have been forgotten. Like the fool, the wise too must die. That's why he says they have the same fate, which is death. Toil is meaningless. So I hated life because the work that is done under the sun was grievous to me. I know how you feel, buddy. All of it's meaningless. I just thumped the Bible. Sorry. A chasing after the wind. I hated all the things I had toiled for under the sun because I must leave them to the one who comes after me. And who knows whether that person will be wise or foolish, yet they will have control over all the fruit of my toil into which I have poured my effort and skill under the sun. This too is meaningless. So my heart began to despair over all my toilsome labor under the sun. For a person may labor with wisdom, knowledge, and skill, and then they must leave all they own to another who has not toiled for it. This too is meaningless and a great misfortune. What do people get for all the toil and anxious striving with which they labor under the sun? All their days their work is grief and pain. Even at night their minds do not rest. This too is meaningless. A person can do nothing better than to eat and drink and find satisfaction in their own toil. This too, I see, is from the hand of God. For without him, who can eat or find enjoyment? To the person who pleases him, God gives wisdom, knowledge, and happiness. But to the sinner, he gives the task of gathering and storing up wealth to hand it over to the one who pleases God. This too is meaningless. It's a chasing after the wind. Now, this is the most famous chapter in Ecclesiastes, chapter 3, where I'm at right now. I'm about to start reading you. There's even a song made by it. There is a time for everything, and a season for every activity under the heavens. A time to be born and a time to die. A time to plant and a time to uproot. A time to kill and a time to heal. And that picture I showed you earlier in the video of the man with the donkey in Palestine, it was about this scripture right here. A time to plant and a time to uproot. A time to kill and a time to heal. A time to tear down and a time to build. A time to weep and a time to laugh. A time to mourn and a time to dance. A time to scatter stones and a time to gather them together. A time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing. A time to search and a time to give up. A time to keep and a time to throw away. A time to tear and a time to mend. A time to be silent and a time to speak. A time to love and a time to hate. A time for war and a time for peace. I laughed at the part where it said, a time to search and a time to give up. Yesterday morning, when I went to make myself a cup of coffee, I realized that my coffee cup was missing. Hi, thanks for commenting. I always appreciate you being here and commenting. Let me tell you this real story that happened yesterday that made me laugh. So, I could not find my coffee cup. And it was so strange to me because I thought that, you know, my mom, who's probably the most powerful witch in the world, had made my cup disappear, like vanish. Because I drank it in the video that I had just posted about like financial prosperity, because my cup is from my bank. Okay. I got a coffee mug from my bank and it has the name of my bank on the mug. So anyways, this coffee mug disappeared. And I looked all over the house for it, everywhere, over and over, and I couldn't find this cup. I thought I had thrown it in the trash for some reason, that I was half asleep the night before, you know, and I got up and I just let it go. I was just like, okay, whatever. I have more cups. No, it wasn't my favorite. My favorite mug is actually hiding away with all my other Christmas presents that I haven't yet opened and given to myself yet. I'm gonna wait to give it to myself and use for Christmas. But I haven't used it yet. But anyway, I just thought, okay, I must have thrown this mug in the trash. And you know, I have other mugs, so it's not my favorite mug. It's actually my least favorite mug. So I just didn't really care about it. And I was just like, whatever. This morning, it always happens, always, without fail. When you're looking for something, you can't find it. And then once you give up looking for it, you find it. So that's what happened, of course. I opened my microwave this morning. And my coffee cup was in the microwave. So I got it back. Anyway, I don't like to put coffee in this white mug because the coffee actually stains. It leaves like a brown rim in the mug. This is more of a tea cup for me than a coffee cup, because I don't know. It's also kind of like a backup mug, like in case I have someone come over and visit, I'll have an extra mug, and this is the extra mug. But anyway. I have hot chocolate in here right now, mixed with a little bit of coffee. But coffee is dehydrating. So, you know, just like alcohol is also dehydrating. So when I drink either one of those beverages, I always have water to hydrate. So, what do workers gain from their toil? I have seen the burden of God has laid on the human race. He has made everything beautiful in its time. He has also set eternity in the human heart. Yet no one can fathom what God has done from beginning to end. That's so true and so deep. I know that there is nothing better for people than to be happy and do good while they live, that each of them may eat and drink and find satisfaction in all their toil. This is a gift of God. I know that everything God does will endure forever. Nothing can be added to it and nothing taken from it. God does it so that people will fear him. Whatever is has already been. What will be has been before. And God will call the past to account. And I saw something else under the sun. In the place of judgment, wickedness was there. In the place of justice, wickedness was there. I said to myself, God will bring into judgment both the righteous and the wicked. For there will be a time for every activity, a time to judge every deed. I also said to myself, as for humans, God tests them so that they may see that they are like the animals. Surely the fate of human beings is like that of the animals. The same fate awaits them both. As one dies, so dies the other. All have the same breath. Humans have no advantage over animals. Everything is meaningless. All go to the same place. All come from dust, and to dust all return. Who knows if the human spirit rises upward, and if the spirit of the animal goes down into the earth? So I saw that there is nothing better for a person than to enjoy their work, because that is their lot. For who can bring them to see what will happen after them? Okay. I made a video called Follow Your Bliss. I would love to include here as a card to click on to watch the video after this is over, and I can include the card. Okay, chapter 4, we're at oppression, toil, friendlessness. Again, I looked and saw all the oppression that was taking place under the sun. I saw the tears of the oppressed, and they have no comforter. Power was on the side of their oppressors, and they have no comforter. And I declared that the dead who had already died are happier than the living who are still alive. But better than both is the one who has never been born yet, who has not seen the evil that is done under the sun. And I saw that all toil and all achievement spring from one person's envy of another. This too is meaningless, chasing after the wind. Fools fold their hands and ruin themselves. Better one handful with tranquility than two handfuls with toil and chasing after the wind. Again, I saw something meaningless under the sun. There was a man all alone. He had neither son nor brother. There was no end to his toil, yet his eyes were not content with his wealth. For whom am I toiling, he asked, and why am I depriving myself of enjoyment? This too is meaningless, a miserable business. Two are better than one, because they have a good return for their labor. If either of them falls down, one can help the other one up, but pity anyone who falls who has no one to help them up. Also, if two lie down together, they keep warm. But how can one keep warm alone? Oh, my teddy bear. Though one may be overpowered, two can defend themselves. A cord of 3 strands is not quickly broken. Advancement is meaningless. Better a poor but wise youth than an old but foolish king who no longer knows how to heed a warning. The youth may have come from prison to the kingship, or he may have been born in poverty within his kingdom. I saw that all who lived and walked under the sun followed the youth, the king's successor. There was no end to all the people who were born before them. But those who came later were not pleased with the successor. This too is meaningless, a chasing after the wind, okay? So if you came into this live video a little late after I started it, I'm already at 48 minutes now almost. So the title of this video is the Book of Ecclesiastes, and I read for like the first 28 minutes the introduction in this big beautiful Bible I have with pictures and everything and historical facts and things like that. Okay, so now I'm at chapter 5, and I think there's 12 chapters. Guard your steps when you go to the house of God. Go near to listen rather than to offer the sacrifice of fools who do not know what they do wrong. Do not be quick with your mouth. Do not be hasty in your heart to utter anything before God. God is in heaven, and you are on earth. So let your words be few. Jesus, I am so in love with you. A dream comes when there are many cares. And many words mark the speech of a fool. When you make a vow to God, so I mean, wait a second. The man who wrote this has many words. Do not delay to fulfill it. He has no pleasure in fools. Fulfill your vow to him. It's better not to make a vow than to make one and not fulfill it. Do not let your mouth lead you into sin, and do not protest to the temple messenger. My vow was a mistake. Why should God be angry at what you say and destroy the work of your hands? Much dreaming and many words are meaningless. Therefore, fear God. Riches are meaningless. If you see the poor oppressed in a district and justice and rights denied, do not be surprised at such things. For one official is eyed by a higher one, and over them both are others higher still. The increase from the land is taken by all. The king himself profits from the fields. Whoever loves money never has enough. Whoever loves wealth is never satisfied with their income. This too is meaningless. I actually knew this was going to happen before I filmed the video. I had a premonition. When I was putting my earrings in to prepare for the video, and I thought was, my left earring is going to fall out while I'm filming. And it did. It fell out in a previous video about the boot camp. Anyway, as goods increase, so do those who consume them. And what benefit are they to the owners except to feast their eyes on them? The sleep of a laborer is sweet. Yeah, that's true. Whether they eat little or much. But as for the rich, their abundance permits them no sleep. I have seen a grievous evil under the sun, wealth hoarded to the harm of its owners, or wealth lost through some misfortune, so that when they have children, there is nothing left for them to inherit. Everyone comes naked from their mother's womb, and as everyone comes, so they depart. They take nothing from their toil that they can carry in their hands. They leave everything physical behind. This too is a grievous evil. As everyone comes, so they depart. And what do they gain since they toil for the wind? All their days they eat in darkness, and great frustration, affliction, and anger. This is what I have observed to be good, that it is appropriate for a person to eat, drink, and find satisfaction in their toilsome labor under the sun during the few days of life God has given them. This is their lot. Moreover, when God gives someone wealth and possessions, and the ability to enjoy them, to accept their lot and be happy in their toil, this is a gift of God. They seldom reflect on the days of their life, because God keeps them occupied with gladness in their heart. Chapter 6. I have seen another evil under the sun, and it weighs heavy on mankind. God gives some people wealth, possessions, and honor, so that they lack nothing their hearts desire. But God does not grant them the ability to enjoy them, and strangers enjoy them instead. This is meaningless and a grievous evil. A man may have 100 children and live many years. Whoa, 100 children. Woo! Oh my gosh. Yet no matter how long he lives, if he cannot enjoy his prosperity and does not receive proper burial, I say that a stillborn child is better off than he. It comes without meaning. It departs in darkness, and in darkness its name is shrouded. Though it never saw the sun or knew anything, it has more rest than does that man. Even if he lives 1,000 years twice over, but fails to enjoy his prosperity, do not all go to the same place? Everyone's toil is for their mouth, yet their appetite is never satisfied. What advantage have the wise over fools? What do the poor gain by knowing how to conduct themselves before others? Better what the eye sees than the roving of the appetite. This too is meaningless, a chasing after the wind. Whatever exists has already been named, and what humanity is has been known. No one can contend with someone who is stronger. The more the words, the less the meaning. And how does that profit anyone? For who knows what is good for a person in life during the few and meaningless days they pass through like a shadow. Whew. Who can tell them what will happen under the sun after they are gone? Chapter 7. Wisdom. A good name is better than fine perfume. And the day of death, better than the day of birth. It is better to go to a house of mourning than to go to a house of feasting, for death is the destiny of everyone. The living should take this to heart. Frustration is better than laughter, because the sad face is good for the heart. What? The heart of the wise is in the house of mourning, but the heart of fools is in the house of pleasure. It is better to heed the rebuke of a wise person than to listen to the song of fools. Like the crackling of thorns under the pot, so is the laughter of fools. This too is meaningless. Extortion turns a wise person into a fool, and a bribe corrupts the heart. The end of a matter is better than its beginning, and patience is better than pride. Do not be quickly provoked in your spirit, for anger resides in the lap of fools. Do not say, "Why were the old days better than these?" For it's not wise to ask such questions. Wisdom, like an inheritance, is a good thing, and benefits those who see the sun. Wisdom is a shelter, as money is a shelter also. But the advantage of knowledge is this: wisdom preserves those who have it, just like money. Consider what God has done. Who can straighten what he has made crooked? I'm laughing because I'm going to stop right there. Hold on. Okay. So I already said that I was able to get my water filter in, but I have another thing I need help with. I got a table. It's kind of like this, but a little different, because the top part of it is not fixed. It actually swivels and turns. So this is what it looks like, the top part. And it also has like a little thing for you to put a book on. So that's why I got it, to read, you know, the Bible on here, so I don't have to. It's really heavy, and it hurts when I set it on my lap. So I want to set the Bible, the really heavy Bible, on this table. And it got really messed up in the mail. On the way here, they did not handle the box very gently. They handled it much too harshly. And it got crushed. The whole entire thing. All different, there's like 3 parts. All of them got crushed. And I'll show you one example. Right here. Do you see the crack? That crack on the table. So I got a full refund, which is good. And they said I didn't have to send it back because it's really like trash. It's, you know, when I got it, it was all broken and everything. But I still tried putting it together and using it because I didn't even really care that it was cracked. It was still functionable, you know, whatever. So this part that I need to put in, this part is also, it got smashed in the mail. You see how it got smashed? So it's supposed to be a circle. And when I put it in the bottom part, and then you're supposed to turn it and swivel, it can't turn and swivel because it's smashed. And so it gets stuck and it won't turn. And I want to be able to fix it. I think it's metal. See this? I don't know how to fix it. Can you tell me how I can fix it? I'd really appreciate it. I don't know. I'm sure I can. It got banged up really badly though. All right, so this is where I left off. Ecclesiastes 7:13. Consider what God has done. Who can straighten what he has made crooked? I can! If I can figure out how to fix that thing. When times are good, be happy. When times are bad, consider this. God has made the one as well as the other. God made good times and bad times. Appreciate all of them. Therefore, no one can discover anything about their future. In this meaningless life of mine, I have seen both of these. The righteous perishing in their righteousness, and the wicked living long in their wickedness. We've seen that. Do not be over righteous. Do not be over wise. Why destroy yourself? Do not be over wicked, and do not be a fool. Why die before your time? It is good to grasp the one and not let go of the other. Whoever fears God will avoid all extremes. I just smelled grilled cheese sandwich. Are you cooking a grilled cheese sandwich right now for lunch or dinner or something? I just smelled grilled cheese sandwich. I smell grilled cheese too? Oh, my battery on my phone is getting low. I have to hurry up. Wisdom makes one wise person more powerful than 10 rulers in a city. Indeed, there is no one on earth who is righteous, no one who does what is right and never sins. Do not pay attention to every word people say, or you may hear your servant cursing you. That is where I laughed. I have really good, acute hearing. I can hear what people say, like in like other rooms, like that have walls in between us and stuff. And so when I read, do not pay attention to every word people say, or you may hear your servant cursing you, I laughed. For you know in your heart that many times you yourself have cursed others. All this I tested by wisdom, and I said, I am determined to be wise. But this was beyond me. Whatever exists is far off and most profound. Who can discover it? So I turned my mind to understand, to investigate and search out wisdom and the scheme of things, and to understand the stupidity of wickedness and the madness of folly. I find more bitter than death the woman who is a snare, whose heart is a trap, and whose hands are chains. The man who pleases God will escape her, but the sinner she will ensnare through sin. Look, says the teacher, this is what I have discovered. Adding one thing to another to discover the scheme of things. While I was still searching but not finding, I found one upright man among 1,000, but not one upright woman among them all. This only have I found. God created mankind upright, but they have gone in search of many schemes. Who is like the wise? Who knows the explanation of things? A person's wisdom brightens their face and changes its hard appearance. Obey the king's command, I say, because you took an oath before God. Do not be in a hurry to leave the king's presence. Do not stand up for a bad cause, or he will do whatever he pleases. Since the king's word is supreme, who could say to him, what are you doing? Whoever obeys his command will come to no harm, and the wise heart will know the proper time and procedure. For there is a proper time and procedure for every matter, though a person may be weighed down by misery. Since no one knows their future, who can tell someone else what is to come? As no one has power over the wind to contain it, so no one has power over the time of their death. That was really personal to me. As no one is discharged in time of war, so wickedness will not release those who practice it. All of this I saw as I applied my mind to everything done under the sun. There is a time when a man lords it over others to his own hurt. Then too I saw the wicked buried, those who used to come and go from the holy place and receive praise in the city where they did this. This too was meaningless. When the sentence for a crime is not quickly carried out, people's hearts are filled with schemes to do wrong. Although a wicked person who commits 100 crimes may live a long time, I know that it will go better with those who fear God, who are reverent before him. Yet because the wicked do not fear God, it will not go well with them, and their days will not lengthen like a shadow. There is something else meaningless that occurs on earth, the righteous who get what the wicked deserve, and the wicked who get what the righteous deserve. This too, I say, is meaningless. So I commend the enjoyment of life, because there is nothing better for a person under the sun than to eat and drink and be glad. Then joy will accompany them in their toil, all the days of the life God has given them under the sun. When I applied my mind to know wisdom and to observe the labor that is done on earth, people getting no sleep day or night, then I saw all that God has done. No one can comprehend what goes on under the sun. Despite all their efforts to search it out, no one can discover its meaning. Even if the wise claim they know, they cannot really comprehend it. A common destiny for all. Chapter 9. So I reflected on all this and concluded that the righteous and the wise and what they do are in God's hands. But no one knows whether love or hate awaits them. All share common destiny. The righteous and the wicked, the good and the bad, the clean and the unclean, those who offer sacrifices and those who do not. As it is with the good, so with the sinful. As it is with those who take oaths, so with those who are afraid to take them. This is evil in everything that happens under the sun. The same destiny overtakes all. The hearts of people, moreover, are full of evil, and there is madness in their hearts while they live. And afterward they join the dead. Anyone who is among the living has hope. Even a live dog is better off than a dead lion. For the living know that they will die, but the dead know nothing. And the commentary here says, no further reward. The dead have no further reward. The dead have lost all opportunity in this life for enjoyment and their reward from their labor. That's the commentary. Okay, they have no further reward, and even their name is forgotten. Their love, their hate, their jealousy have long since vanished. Never again will they have a part in anything that happens under the sun. That's interesting. Go eat your food with gladness and drink your wine with a joyful heart. For God has already approved what you do. Always be clothed in white, and always anoint your head with oil. Enjoy life with your wife, whom you love, all the days of this meaningless life that God has given you under the sun. All your meaningless days, for this is your lot in life and in your toilsome labor under the sun. Whatever your hand finds to do, do it with all your might, for in the realm of the dead where you are going, there is neither working, nor planning, nor knowledge, nor wisdom. I have seen something else under the sun. The race is not to the swift, or the battle to the strong, nor does food come to the wise, or wealth to the brilliant, or favor to the learned, but time and chance happen to them all. Moreover, no one knows when their hour will come. As fish are caught in a cruel net, or birds are taken in a snare, so people are trapped by evil times that fall unexpectedly upon them. Wisdom is better than folly. I also saw under the sun this example of wisdom that greatly impressed me. There was once a small city with only a few people in it, and a powerful king came against it, surrounded it, and built huge siege works against it. Now there lived in that city a man, poor but wise, and he saved the city by his wisdom. But nobody remembered that poor man. So I said, wisdom is better than strength, but the poor man's wisdom is despised, and his words are no longer heeded. That's really sad. I feel that way a lot. The quiet words of the wise are more to be heeded than the shouts of a ruler of fools. Wisdom is better than weapons of war, but one sinner destroys much good. As dead flies give perfume a bad smell, so a little folly outweighs wisdom and honor. The heart of the wise inclines to the right, but the heart of the fool to the left. I smiled. That's kind of funny because as an American, we have political parties called right and left. So anyway, it's kind of a joke. The heart of the wise inclines to the right, which is Republican, and the heart of the fool to the left, which is Democrat, of the American political parties. Even as fools walk along the road, they lack sense and show everyone how stupid they are. If a ruler's anger rises against you, do not leave your post. Calmness can lay great offenses to rest. There is an evil I have seen under the sun, the sort of error that arises from a ruler. Fools are put in many high positions, while the rich occupy the low ones. I have seen slaves on horseback, while princes go on foot like slaves. Whoever digs a pit may fall into it. Whoever breaks through a wall may be bitten by a snake. Whoever quarries stones may be injured by them. Whoever splits logs may be endangered by them. If the axe is dull and its edge unsharpened, more strength is needed, but skill will bring success. Very true. If a snake bites before it is charmed, the charmer receives no fee. Words from the mouth of the wise are gracious, but fools are consumed by their own lips. At the beginning of their words are folly. At the end they are wicked madness. And fools multiply words. No one knows what is coming. Who can tell someone else what will happen after them? The toil of fools wearies them. They do not know the way to town. Woe to the land whose king was a servant, whose princes feast in the morning. Blessed is the land whose king is of noble birth, and whose princes eat at a proper time, for strength and not for drunkenness. Through laziness the rafters sag. Because of idle hands the house leaks. I was just thinking, why does a house leak? Through laziness the rafters sag. Because of idle hands the house leaks. A feast is made for laughter. Wine makes life merry. And money is the answer for everything. I'm almost done here. Wow! I have to include this, okay? I know my battery's getting low on my phone and the video might even cut off because it'll run out of, power or whatever. Hopefully not, but because I'm almost done here. There's a picture. Looking up at typical construction of a rural house roof in ancient times, through laziness, the rafters sag. Because of idle hands, the house leaks. Ecclesiastes 10:18. This is a picture of that scripture. So that's obviously, a biblical times, like 500 BC house. Do not revile the king, even in your thoughts. Tell that to Americans. Or curse the rich in your bedroom, because a bird in the sky may carry your words, and a bird on the wing may report what you say. Chapter 11, invest in many ventures. Ship your grain across the sea. After many days you may receive a return. Invest in 7 ventures, yes, in 8. You do not know what disaster may come upon the land. If clouds are full of water, they pour rain on the earth. Whether a tree falls to the south or to the north, in the place where it falls, there it will lie. Whoever watches the wind will not plant. Whoever looks at the clouds will not reap. As you do not know the path of the wind, or how the body is formed in a mother's womb, so you cannot understand the work of God, the maker of all things. Sow your seed in the morning, and at evening let your hands not be idle. For you do not know which will succeed, whether this or that, or whether both will do equally well. Remember your Creator while young. Light is sweet, and it pleases the eyes to see the sun. It sure does. I love the sunrise. It's so beautiful. Every morning I just like to stare at it. So many rich colors, like hot pink and orange. Okay. However many years anyone may live, let them enjoy all of them. But let them remember the days of darkness, for there will be many. Everything to come is meaningless. You who are young, be happy while you are young, and let your heart give you joy in the days of your youth. Yep. Follow the ways of your heart and whatever your eyes see, but know that for all these things God will bring you into judgment. So then, banish anxiety from your heart and cast off the troubles of your body, for youth and vigor are meaningless. Chapter 12, the last chapter in Ecclesiastes here. Remember your Creator in the days of your youth, before the days of trouble come, and the years approach when you will say, I will find no pleasure in my days. Before the sun and the light and the moon and the stars grow dark, and the clouds return after the rain, when the keepers of the house tremble, and the strong men stoop, when the grinders cease because they are few, and those looking through the windows grow dim. When the doors to the street are closed, and the sound of grinding fades, when people rise up at the sound of birds, but all their songs grow faint, when people are afraid of heights and of dangers in the streets, when the almond tree blossoms and the grasshopper drags itself along and desire no longer is stirred, then people go to their eternal home and mourners go about the streets. Remember him before the silver cord is severed. And the golden bowl is broken. Before the pitcher is shattered at the spring, and the wheel broken at the well, and the dust returns to the ground it came from, and the spirit returns to God who gave it. Meaningless, meaningless, says the teacher. Everything is meaningless. Conclusion of the matter, not only was the teacher wise, but he also imparted knowledge to the people. He pondered and searched out and set in order many proverbs. The teacher searched to find just the right words, and what he wrote was upright and true. The words of the wise are like goads. I don't know what goads are. Pointed sticks used for guiding herd animals. Here are pointed truths guiding human beings. Firmly embedded nails. Truths that are dependable and reliable, given by one shepherd, either the teacher or God himself. The words of the wise are like sticks that herd animals. They're collected sayings like firmly embedded nails, given by one shepherd. Be warned, my son, of anything in addition to them. Of making many books there is no end, and much study wearies the body. Now all has been heard. Here is the conclusion of the matter. Fear God and keep his commandments. This is the duty of all mankind. For God will bring every deed into judgment, including every hidden thing, whether it is good or evil. That's the end of Ecclesiastes. Thanks for watching. I'm going to wrap up now. This is probably one of my longest videos. Peace out.